Welcome to Jessie James Beads. We're going to make another anklet. Let's work with the 18 karat gold overlay bow metal chain. How beautiful and sumptuous. You can really see the quality of the gold overlay on this. It's very beautiful indeed. We also have a wood bead strand duo in Tongrass Forest. I do hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We're also going to add in a clasp and, naturally enough, some wire. Here at Jessie James Beads, we do like to mix those things together. For this video today here at Jessie James Beads, we're going to double up the bow metal chain in that gorgeous 18 karat gold overlay. It's really very sumptuous indeed. So if you're not really an anklet person, then you can absolutely change this up and wear it as a bracelet instead. The first thing I'm going to do is to cut two identical lengths of the chain. Now with this bow metal chain, what we're going to do is cut one of the circular forms, one of these closed up jump rings. So I've got two side-by-side lengths of chain, and I'm going to use my heavy duty cutters to simply snip one of these pieces. Now it does tend to kind of go when it goes, so just be mindful that that doesn't fly off anywhere you're not looking for it to end up. So just make sure that that is going to fit, and I have taken around about 3/4 of an inch away to allow for the fixtures and fittings to bring these two pieces together. Now the residual length of chain is going to be really useful. I will probably double that up across the back of the wrist and add some simple chain either side to make a really attractive feature. It's very, very pretty indeed. And if you wanted to do the same, then the technique we're going to use to draw these two pieces of chain together is going to be exactly the same. If you want to turn this into a bracelet, I'm going to use 22 gauge wire in that lovely gold overlay. I'm working with some non-tarnish wire today. It's quite a sturdy wire, but we are indeed going to give that a very gentle warm through, and I have around about a 5-inch length. So just give that a quick smooth, it will be ready to work. We don't need to overhandle it. What I'm going to do is to lay the chains side by side and ensure that they are both completely flat. I'm going to pop the piece of wire through one of the ends and then through one of the gorgeous, very grown-up grey faceted rondelles from the Tongrass Forest strand, which I've cut, and you can see there are some beautiful beads here. We'll then pass the wire through the other side, the other piece of chain, and just make sure that they are both sitting flat, and in that way when they sit on the body they will nestle really nicely against the skin. So I'm just going to wind the wire through. I'm going to use my bent chain nose pliers on either side to generate quite a hard bend. So I'm going to put the first bend in and then bring them together. What I don't want to do is to push them too tightly, or the chains will splay apart and you'll end up with a larger gap between them. If that is something that you'd like to feature in your jewellery, then you absolutely can do that, but I'm going to bring those two quite close together and then just turn both ends over so that they sit relatively close. They're not super tight, but they're just relatively close, and they run side by side. So I'm going to then by hand just draw each of those wires over to a central point so that it sits just above that beautiful bead, which is almost a smoky quartz, maybe an ice obsidian colourway. I'm going to grip one of those wires just where it meets in the middle where the bead is and turn it into an upright. I'm then going to draw the other side of the wire around. Now if you find that you've made that too tight, you can just open that out slightly and reform that bend. What I want to do now is to just flip this over, because I'm going to grip the side of the wire that is sitting over in the straight line, the one that we haven't done the bend in just yet, and I'm going to grip that just where it goes across that upright bend in the wire that's coming away like so. The reason I'm doing that is because it means I can push the wire around. It looks for all the world like one of those old wire coat hangers. I'm then going to grip both sides, both of the shoulders of the design, so this side and this side. I'm going to grip them both with my pliers. I'm going to be very mindful to not crush them together. I'm just going to hold them whilst I draw that tail around. Now there's quite a lot of wire here, but I did want to just use a piece that I'd already cut on my desk. You don't really need quite this much wire, but it does pay to have more than you think you'll need sometimes. So let's draw that all the way around. Close it up. I've gone for 3 visible wraps, which is all a bit academic because I'm going to hide it in just a moment. So if I snip that really close, a piece of wire of this length, which is about 2.5 to 3 inches, is always going to be useful. So don't discard it, keep hold of it for later. And then what we're going to do is to just make sure that the sticky uppy bit on the end there sits down smoothly against that core wire. I'm then going to grab one of these beautiful, I guess it's a wheel shape spacers from the Tongrass Forest strand, and slide that down, and it will sit over the top of that small wrap we just created. So that's one of the reasons for using a lighter wire. You don't really need a very heavy wire for this design. It's much easier to get nice fluid bends in a lighter wire, and if you are struggling with any issues with your wrists or joints, then it can make life a little easier. We're then going to grab in one of those gorgeous beads that matches, and they sit really nicely together. So just make sure that everything is square. So I'm going to show you the first end that I did, which just is exactly the same technique. Let's just draw that down into position. And all I've done at this end is popped a little loop on, ready to slide in our clasp. So this was one of those beautiful gold lobster clasps from a set here at Jem Beads. I'm going to slide that into position. Now this piece of wire was only about 3 inches in length, so in theory you could use the offcut that we just generated. So let's grip across that rounded form and bring that tail all the way around. I'm just going to fold that over by hand to begin with, and I'm going to flip this around. So that bead's probably going to come off while we're doing this side. I'm going to grab a second pair of pliers. These are tapered or standard chain nose pliers, and I just want to show you that if things are getting a little bit tight in your designs, having a second fine tipped plier can really help. So I'm going to gently grip across the rounded form where we just popped that clasp into position, and I will draw the tail of wire around very softly until it sits flush against that core wire. Now that's sealed the clasp into position. So the reason for using longer wire on the other end is that we're going to create a round form into which our clasp will connect. Let's just clear that board. So again, I would encourage you to just double check that the 2 chains are both flat, because obviously this is a nice flat chain. It will sit beautifully against the body, and it will work gorgeously as wristwear if you're not into anklets. We've actually had a spell of beautiful weather here in the UK, which is uncommon, I'll be honest with you. So it's nice to celebrate that sometimes. So I'm going to grip across the wire, making sure that both that spacer bead and the beautiful frosty grey bead sit flush against. And then I'm going to push a right angle. Now utilising my bent chain nose pliers will leave a gap, which is absolutely perfect, because I want that gap to wrap the tail of my wire into. So I'm going to use the 4mm pin on my memory wire finishing pliers to generate this loop. I used the 2mm pin on the end into which I put that clasp. So now we've generated a beautiful round form. I'm going to grip across that round form, just pull the tail of wire away gently, and I'm going to give this a bit of a squish. Now I'm not going to press down where the wire crosses over itself, as you can weaken the wire. So you can just pop your thumbnail over it if you wish to preserve it, or just take your time. Now the reason I'm going to great lengths to explain this part of today's tutorial here at Jem Beads is because this is a lighter wire than one would normally use to create a clasp attachment point. I just want to make sure that that is lovely and strong. So what we're going to do to finish off the design is to draw that wire all the way around. Now if you're making this as a bracelet, you can make some lovely flowery designs with the tail of wire. You can turn a little spiral and pop it over the end, but because I'm making this to wear on my ankles, I think probably neater and cleaner lines are what I'd want to go for. So make sure that you don't accidentally clip part of that round form, trim the wire away. Pop that into the scrap pot. You can melt it or utilise it to make teeny tiny spirals later. And then we're just going to ensure that this sits down flush against that core. It's already pretty close. I can't even see where the end is if I'm being completely honest. I'm just going to give it a quick squish. So it's a 2-strand anklet, and I'll take some photos of this later and put it on the outro screen. I do hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial for another anklet here at Jessie James Beads.